I have always been a bit of a loner. I was the girl that no one ever wanted to be friends with, and quite frankly, I didn't really care. I wasn't bothered about having lots of friends. I had something better than that. I had a secret crush. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you do, your crush will finally take you back. Trust me, it really works. When I was at school, I was always the girl sitting in the corner on her own eating her lunch. It had always been that way. I was used to it. I had one friend, Lucy, but she went to a different school. I wished that Lucy went to the same school as me. Then I would have someone to hang out with, to eat my lunch with, to chat about boys with. I wouldn't say I was miserable at school, but I definitely wasn't happy. Then one day, that all changed. A new boy joined our class. His name was Simon. He was tall and had big brown eyes. I thought he was the most good-looking boy I had ever seen. I didn't tell him that, of course. I was far too shy to do that. He was good at everything. He soon became a member of every school sports team. I had never been interested in sports, but now I made sure I watched every game. I just loved watching him running around the field. My days were much better now. I never actually plucked up the courage to speak to Simon. Until one day, I was sitting eating my lunch alone when Simon walked by. "Hi," he said, smiling. I nearly choked on my lunch. "Hi," I stammered as I coughed and tried to swallow my sandwich. He laughed in a nice way and carried on walking. I couldn't believe it. My heart was soaring. I walked home from school that afternoon and felt that life couldn't get any better. When I got home, Mom was just pulling in the drive. She had been to the gym. My mom was a gym freak. She literally went to the gym every day. She looked happy. "I met a new friend at the gym today," she said. "She has invited us over for dinner on Saturday night. Do I have to go?" I asked. "Yes," said Mom. "You need to make some new friends." Mom had told me that her friend Diane had a son about my age. As they were new to the area, her son was keen to make new friends. I wasn't really looking forward to spending a Saturday night with my parents and their friends. But as I didn't have any other plans, I had no excuse to not go. Saturday came and we drove over to Mom's friend's house. Their house was just like ours, like all the houses in our town. Dad rang the doorbell. A nice-looking woman opened the door and invited us in. "Hi, I'm Diane," she said to me. "Why don't we go and sit down?" We went through to the lounge. "Would you like a drink?" she asked. "We are just waiting for my son to come downstairs, then we can have dinner." She made us all a drink and the grown-ups chatted away. I sat there sipping away at my lemonade. The door opened. I looked up and nearly spat out my drink. "This is my son, Simon," said Mom's friend. "I'm Amy," I said. I couldn't believe it. My crush was my mom's friend's son. Simon just looked over and smiled at me. He probably thought all I did was choke on food or drink. My hands were trembling as we sat down for dinner. I felt so nervous. But I didn't need to. Simon was soon chatting away to me. I felt like I had known him forever. He made me feel so relaxed. The evening flew by. I couldn't believe it when Dad said it was time to go home. I felt like I'd only been there for about 10 minutes. As my parents put on their coats, Simon leaned over to me and whispered, "Would you like to hang out sometime?" Was this really happening? My crush was asking me out on a date. "Yes, that would be nice," I said, trying to act calm. "Cool, I'll text you," said Simon. In the car on the way home, I couldn't stop smiling. Finally, my life was exactly how I wanted it to be. Simon texted me the following day. "Let's go to the movies," he wrote. "Sure," I replied. I met Simon outside the cinema. I could hardly concentrate on the movie. I kept looking over at Simon. He was engrossed in the film. If he did catch my eye, he would just smile. When the film finished, Simon walked me home. "That was fun," he said. "We should hang out again." From then on, we were always together. We would go to the park or sometimes get a pizza together. Even though he never actually made it official, I knew we were dating. I was sitting at home, dreaming about the perfect life I was going to have with Simon. I could imagine our little house. We would probably have 2, if not 3 children, and definitely a dog. My phone beeped, pulling me back to the present. It was a text message from Simon. "Do you want to come over to my house tomorrow?" I was surprised. Normally, we always met somewhere other than home. Surely this must mean something special. The next morning, I spent ages choosing what to wear. I wanted to look really nice when Simon asked me to be his girlfriend. I felt sure that's what was going to happen today. I couldn't eat any breakfast. My stomach was full of butterflies. "You have to eat something," said Mom. "I'll get something at Simon's house," I replied as I rushed out of the house. I arrived at Simon's house and we went up to his room. I sat down and he put on the TV. It was one of my favorite shows, but I could hardly concentrate on watching it. Simon looked a little nervous. I smiled to myself. He was obviously waiting for the perfect moment to ask me to be his girlfriend. Suddenly, Simon stood up. He walked over to his closet. As he was stepping inside, he said, "Follow me. I have something to show you." I was a bit confused, but I followed Simon into the closet. At the back of the closet was a door. Simon opened the door and we stepped into a hidden room. I looked around me. What was going on? The walls were covered in photos. Photos of a girl. Not just any girl, though. The photos were of my friend, Lucy. I looked over at Simon, waiting for an explanation. He turned to me and said, "I need your help. I know you are friends with this girl. I really like her. I have seen her in town, and I think she is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Can you help me to get a date with her, please?" I felt like my world had exploded and all of my dreams had been blown to pieces. This couldn't be happening. I wanted to cry, but instead I just said, "Of course I will help you. That's what friends are for." How could I have been so stupid? Simon had just made friends with me to get closer to Lucy. Someone like him would never be interested in me. Simon asked me if I could arrange a date for him and Lucy, so that's what I did. Well, at least I arranged it with Simon. I told him that Lucy had agreed to meet him at the bowling alley on Friday after school. I said that she would be there at 5 o'clock. The thing is, I didn't tell Lucy any of this. I wanted him to think that she was a mean girl. I went to the bowling alley at 5 o'clock and watched from across the street. Simon looked disappointed as the minutes ticked away and Lucy hadn't turned up. I waited a little longer, and when he looked like he was about to leave, I went over to the entrance. Simon looked a little surprised to see me. "She didn't come," he said, looking sad. "To be honest, I'm not surprised," I replied. "Lucy has done this before." I told him how she had stood up so many boys. That was a lie, but I needed Simon to see that we were perfect for each other. I said that I thought that Simon could get a much nicer girl than Lucy. I was meaning me, of course, but I didn't say that. I thought that would be the end of it, but no. "Can you give me her Instagram?" said Simon. I could hardly say no, could I? I gave him her Instagram name before making an excuse that I needed to go home. I knew what I would have to do. I ran home and up to my room. I quickly made an Instagram account in Lucy's name. Within minutes, I saw Simon was following my account. I started posting some really nasty things. I made jokes about people being bullied. I just wanted Simon to think Lucy wasn't a nice girl. I sent him a message saying, "Amy said you wanted to message me." He replied straight away telling me that he had seen me in town and thought I was so cute. He said that my hair was lovely. "Oh, I know," I wrote back. "My hair is better than anyone else's." I just wanted him to think that Lucy was overconfident. In all the messages I wrote to him, I made sure that Lucy sounded mean. I wrote that she was so popular, that all the boys thought she was so pretty. I was sure that Simon would be put off Lucy, but it didn't work. "You seem so different from the way you look," wrote Simon. "I'm going to call you." I didn't know what to do. I had given Simon Lucy's telephone number, but it was my number. With that, my telephone rang. Simon could see that the number he was ringing was actually to Amy and not Lucy. I answered the phone. "Amy, how could you do this to me?" shouted Simon. "I thought you were my friend." Simon cut off the phone. I started sobbing. My plan had totally backfired. I tried to call Simon back, but he wouldn't pick up the phone. I wanted to tell him that the only reason I did it was because I was in love with him, but I never got the chance. The next morning when I woke up, for a split second, I forgot what had happened. Then it all came rushing back to me. My heart sank. I was dreading going to school. As I walked through the school gates, I could see everyone staring at me. "How could you be so mean?" said one of the girls as she walked past me. "She was meant to be your friend," said another. Everyone knew. I spent all day trying to hide myself away. The only thing I could hope for was that Lucy wouldn't find out. She went to a different school, so maybe she wouldn't hear about it. She was the only friend I had. After school, I went straight over to Lucy's house. As I walked up the path to her house, I saw her looking out of her window at me. She wasn't smiling. I knocked on the door and her mom opened it. "Amy's here," she shouted up to Lucy. "Go straight up, Amy." I went up the stairs to Lucy's bedroom. I opened the door, and as I looked at Lucy, I knew that she had found out what I had done. She looked at me angrily. "How could you do that to me?" she asked. "I'm sorry," I said. "It's too late," she replied. "Get out of my house. I never want to see you again." I'm sad to say this, but Lucy and I were never friends again. Simon and Lucy started dating. I would sometimes see them walking hand in hand through town. If they saw me, they would cross the street. They didn't want anything to do with me after everything I had done. Because of my stupid mistake, I had lost not only my crush, but my only friend, too.